Good afternoon, traders. Okay, this video it's gonna tie up a lot of loose ends. I'm gonna let you know what's coming along. I do want to clarify some bits and pieces about what I did say in my previous video about changing the world, the trade copier as such, all of that. So a lot of information, guys. Please pay attention. This will help you become better traders as well. This is something else I want to talk to you about, being 100% in the money. This is going to tie into an April challenge that I'm going to speak about. Firstly, there is a blog that I'm finally working on. You guys have me working almost like a day job again, where I am putting a blog up. It's simply because I'm putting a lot of information into the videos that I have right now. But a lot of people, I know those videos run for 30 minutes, 50 minutes, an hour sometimes. I don't know how you guys watch it because I wouldn't. So what I'm doing with the blog is I'm going to put articles up. The templates are going to be well organized. I'm going to break up these videos and put them up there according to subject matter. And then there's going to be a whole heap of articles that I will gradually just keep putting down, explaining little bits and pieces of various aspects of trading and what things you should do. And also I will start to share some of the spiritual secrets as well, like I have in regards to the pendulum stuff. But you guys are going to absolutely love that. Everything from Shiva, which is being able to tune into the abundance energies of the earth itself, remote viewing, remote influence, lucid dreaming. I will share all that stuff, and you'd be surprised at how much you can help affect your life or change your life just with this sort of stuff. And with a lot of people, when I'm talking to you guys about being able to predict market movements, being able to be 100% in the money, that sort of stuff, well, that's utilizing a lot of your extra sensory perception. You can have sixth sense, seventh sense, eighth sense, keep going. You can literally awaken all these powers. Blast open your third eye, that sort of stuff. Not in a bad way, but in a very nice, very comfortable, very subtle way. Many of you are playing around with your kundalini and stuff. That can be dangerous if you really don't know what you're doing. But yes, there are ways of doing these things that will literally make your life a complete breeze. Even trading becomes simple. When I'm talking about being able to put $1,000 down on a trade, it becomes very simple when you have a clear indication of what's going on, what signs you're looking for, and then being able to sense something that is about to happen prior to it happening, which is in itself, for many of us, a miracle. Okay, so the blog is coming. I'm hoping to put that up this week. The only delay is that kind of lazy at times. Again, it's very difficult working from home and trying to do what to me feels like having a day job right now. So that is coming. That's going to have templates. I'm going to put up the PDFs that I was talking about before about reversal patterns. I've got some books. Some of you that are on my Facebook page, you probably would have seen that Outwitting the Devil book. But in addition to that one, I'm going to share a few other spiritual books, and then also some trading books that some of you might like to read. They're all going to be in PDF format, so you can literally do all of that stuff. I've shared on there, as well as I'll put on the template, this time indicator. So this thing here that tells me how much time's left on that candle, that's going to be shared on the blog as well, or on the website. I have right now about 4 brokers that I will release. That's going to be on the blog. So I will maximum, there'll probably only be about 10 that will cover the globe. I've got my very strict criteria. I'm looking for pretty much all of them to be Forex trade brokerages as well, that are regulated in their country. SciSec I've cancelled all of that out. As much as, SciSec is okay, the reason why I'm not such a big fan is because, again, recourse is more important to me than just saying something's registered somewhere. A number of you have been very helpful. Thank you for sending in some of the brokerages, and I've pretty much slashed out about 99% of that. It's simply because many of them are still the Ponzi type brokerages. Many of them are If they are regulated or registered, they are done through SISEC. Please be aware that the ones that are registered with the likes of the FCA and stuff, registration is different to regulation. Okay, that sort of stuff. I've seen a lot of very savvy brokerages recently. Someone did send it to me today where the setup looked quite nice. It looked okay to me. But when I delved deeper into it, it kept saying they were regulated, but there was actually no proof of that. And then at the same time, when I delved further into it, the jurisdiction that they wanted to work within was, or which is part of their disclaimer, was I think it was Saint Kitts and Nevis, which is like a tiny island somewhere in the world. You've got absolutely no recourse in that regard. So those things are very important. So about 4 brokerages are coming through. This will cover Australia, New Zealand, possibly all my European buddies as well. Of the 4, there might be 1 or 2 that might work well with all the Indian subscribers. So far with the US ones, I've got Forex related stuff for you guys, but not too much in the way of a binary. Good news for Canadians though, although I haven't found direct stuff for you guys because your regulators are different over there. It's kind of more broken down into regions. That you could possibly use the ones that I'm about to release, which is the Aussie ones. They are pretty good. Okay. So many of you will be covered, but I will continue doing that. I will find one in UAE with the Indian guys. I've got some information in regards to what the Reserve Bank of India is actually presently doing in regards to allowing more currency pairs, because look, it's a closed economy, so they are very tight in regards to money going in and out. That's part of the reason why they do keep an eye on all of this stuff. You can possibly trade by a way of third-party providers, so your money goes in and out that way. But having said that, I have shot some emails over to RBI and your regulator as well, trying to get some feedback from them in regards to that. Binary options is also throughout the world. In most countries, still not an accepted product or a regulated product. I'm surprised we actually do have it regulated here in Australia. So for all of you, if the broker does not say no to your country, you're all good to go with these guys. They will pretty much pay you. So not an issue. I'm going to, in addition to the blog, what I'm going to add on there is, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do this, is I do my meditations and my clearing and healing every single day, and well, I try to anyway. And I will try and do like a full Shubh, like an abundance session. So if you guys are there, then I'm going to have to do it anyway. So this is in a way forcing myself to do it. So what I will do is figure out some way where you guys can either put your names down on something. I'd rather not, because its privacy is important. But what I might actually do is create some like an energy program or something on the website on a particular page on an area. What I would like you guys to do at that point in time is go to the page and just kind of speak your name or meditate or just have it open for a little bit. Because what I will then do is energetically perform a clearing. So negative energy, all of that daily for everyone that has done that. And then at the same time, fill that space up with just abundance energy. So you can use your name, your family name, the names of your families and friends. And so we'll just do a blanket clearing for everyone. This happens daily. I'm sure this is going to help the world massively. The other thing that I wanted to point out that I didn't do in the pendulum video was that what you guys can do besides just doing clearings for yourself and your family, you can clear whole properties. So your home, you can clear all the negative energies in the home itself, within the land at home. And also, you can clear the negative energy in your entire city, in your state, in your country. You can even aim for just clearing all the negative energies in the world. And then once that's finished, then fill that energy again with possibly love and above energy, harmony, joy, bliss, peace, that sort of stuff. So if I can actually ask those of you that are using the pendulum right now, if you could all do your countries, and at the same time, like, there's all this terrorism stuff that's going on around the world. Maybe do a clearing around this way of thinking, these belief systems where one human being has the ability to kill another one, and then see what happens. Chances are you might actually experience this. Back in 2014, I was in Bangkok for a week, and I walked into a hotel, and the energy there was terrible. There was this entire open area within that area. I can't remember which part of Bangkok I was actually in, but the energy felt so dense, so horrible. I had an instant headache, and everyone in the hotel itself, they were like, everyone was in a bad mood. So I actually, there's so many ways I do the clearings. I actually create an energy program which pulses out every second, and with each pulse it actually clears. It's converting all the negative energy into positive energy. Within the space of about 10 minutes, my headache's gone. Every single person I'm looking around is smiling, they're laughing, they're like happy-go-lucky again. And outside, that denseness was gone. So you can literally clear the energies of almost anything. Okay, for those of you that use burn sage or incense, you can do this with the pendulum as well. Okay, so clear the energy of your entire countries. If you can, clear all the negative energy from your politicians in your countries, and when you're then putting energies in, put some common sense and wisdom into it as well. Connect them with source and light and the universe, and so they can start actually making decisions that are in positive flow with nature and in positive flow with the rest of us. So you'd be surprised how powerful this actually is. I'm going to practice what I'm preaching here and get into the habit of doing this daily. So I will do this here in Australia, and I will try and do it all over the world as well. But if you guys can actually do it in your individual countries, that would be fantastic. Together, besides putting the trade copier up and creating wealth and then helping people, this is another way we can help people. Okay? Subliminals, guys, some of you or those that are possibly new right now have forgotten. I've got subliminals in my channel for Forex and for binary options. I'm going to put this up on the blog as well. An MP3 version is going to be on there. I've been able to energize the MP3 version, so you guys can then download that, put it onto your phones or wherever, and then be able to listen to it, so you won't be bound to listening to this off YouTube. That's fantastic. April challenge. What I'd like all of you guys to do is, throughout the month of April, slow yourselves down to a point where you have established yourself a goal, a trading goal, and that may be simply where, let's just choose a round figure. If you make $5,000 a month right now, maybe working a 9-to-5 job, what your goal would be is to be able to demo and win the equivalent of $5,000. Okay, what I mean by that is to say for instance, $5,000 broken down over 20 trading days is what, roughly about $250 a day. That is what you need. So $250 will get you $2,500 over 10 days, and over 20 days you're talking $5,000. So what we're going to do is this: in order for you to make that $250, you possibly only need to do 1, 2, or maybe 3 trades. So 3 $100 trades will get you to 40 roughly. But if you were to do, say, I think 2, no, that won't work. Let's round this off. 2 $200 trades. Okay, that will get you something close to about 300 something. But if you could do this over the course of April, you're going to do 44 trades, 2 a day, and your goal literally is just this: you pick one of the strategies that I've suggested, whether it just be reversals, whether it be the 15-minute going with the trend, or whether you're going off the M or the W formation, and you're on the 4th wave, that second candle. Pick just one strategy, write that down, write the criteria of it down, and then I want you to do 2 of those trades every single day. This is on demo, okay? Because the mindset that you're going to gain from just doing demo, from analyzing your trades, from being able to analyze the markets, and then lastly, being able to predict what's going to happen in the markets. With those 44 trades, I want you to reasonably be able to predict what the market's doing right now, and then from that, to reasonably be able to analyze what the market's doing right now, and then be able to predict what the market's going to do as you're taking these trades. And then I want you to be able to prove to yourself that you can reasonably predict those trades. 2 a day is all you will need to do, because eventually, for those of you that are struggling, I want you to stop that struggle on live accounts. I want you to stop losing money on those live accounts. I want you to just do this for the month of April. You're going to prove to yourself you can do this. You're going to build your confidence by doing this. You're going to analyze, you're going to get into the habit of analyzing the market in a way where you can then predict. And I'll show you what I'm doing myself. So analyze what the market's doing, be able to select the currency pairs that you want to be paying attention to, and then you're going to trade, and then be able to not only physically execute that here's a trade, I've seen the pullback, I'm going to go with the flow, but at the same time where you can actually analyze your gut feeling. You can actually hone into your own energies and be able to feel that this is a trade that I want to take, or be able to understand within yourself, within your own reasoning, that this is what's going to happen. Here's what you're also going to do. You're going to start talking to yourself. I know you've possibly been programmed to believe that that's the first sign of going mad. Well, hey, it's usually the mad ones that are quite wealthy. Like, look at Donald Trump. He's off his blocks, but this guy is a multi-billionaire. Apologize to any of you Americans that are supporting him right now. I don't kind of want to jump into political conversations right now, but anyway, but just to say that whenever you guys are doing your trades, talk to yourself. Ask yourself why you're taking the trade. The reason why I'm saying verbalize all of this is because you're conversing with your subconscious mind. When you're listening to the subliminals are speaking directly into your subconscious that this is what I want. I want 100% wins. I'm a champion, a genius at binary options trading. I can see patterns developing in my charts, that sort of stuff. So when you're conversing with your subconscious mind, you're literally asking it, what went wrong here if you lost a trade? Or show me what's going to happen. And you'll be surprised. You might pretty much just get a picture in your head. Market's going to go do this. You know, remote viewing, when I really did want to bother about it, at night I'd sit back and I wouldn't do the technical form of remote viewing and just be quiet time, and I'll pick a currency pair and I'll ask my subconscious mind, show me what it's going to do. And in my mind at that point in time, it was market goes up, comes back down, goes up, like that. Here's what happened with the actual currency pair when I saw it. It was like the next day. This is live charts. Market came consolidated, fell, consolidated for a bit, went up, came down, then went up. I looked at that and I thought, this is exactly the picture that I saw in my mind previously. We can all tap into this. For those of you that know anything about the Akashic records, it's something similar. It's being able to tap into the Akashic records and say, show me what's going to happen with AUD USD tomorrow, or something along those lines, and give it a time frame from this point to this point. What's going to happen? Chances are you will actually be able to, if you can still your mind, be able to see what those movements are going to be. Okay, that's the power of prediction. I guarantee you guys, if you start focusing along these lines, you're going to become better and better and better traders. How much is that knowledge worth to you? Okay, so here's what I'm doing. By the way, what you're looking at right now, this is the template that I'm going to share with you. So I still didn't hear back from anyone. So the only thing that I'm actually taking from what I had previously is these colored blocks here. So blue, nothing here, and red. Everything else is my own. So candlesticks. This is an EMA 6 that I've got here. This is I think a She True channel, that's called. I hardly use that, but there is a strategy you can use with this, and I will create a video soon enough with that. But this template is available, guys. I'm going to put it up on the blog, so the next video that comes through will explain to you the blog, the URL, and what stuff I've got on all of there. But here's what I do. Around 11 something my time, I grab myself a coffee, which is not good for me. But I do grab myself a coffee, and I will then scan through all these currency pairs that I presently have here. Okay, I love these GBP pairs because in Forex terms, God, they move beautifully. Look at this. This is from this point here, which is the low of the Asian session, to the absolute high of the New York session. It's the end of Asian up to New York, and let's say this is a 10-hour period. That's 190 freaking pips. Can you imagine? If we were just trading off of that. So I love these pound pairs. They're fantastic. They move beautifully. But so what I do is I just scan my pairs. I'm looking to see if there are any signs in the market itself of where the market is going to move towards. Okay. Yes, I'm looking for M and W formations. Here's the reason why. Here's a clear W formation. Okay. Here's what the story behind it is in terms of Forex. Now, if anyone teaches you this sort of stuff, M's and W's, and they talk to you about this stuff, they're the real deal when it comes to Forex trading, because this is what it in actual fact is. This is how the market movements happen. There are fake outs happening. Market will try to confuse you. Market will push back down in a particular direction. You see this. The bottom of the W formations happening. You're seeing, well, in this point where the market did push back down, broke through the body and the wick of this. But the second few candles, or the second round, or the second wave of that W, when that came back down, this one here, it doesn't break past, especially the body, it doesn't break past the bottom of these candles here. Especially, you know, when you get these template, this will make more sense to you, because you'll start to see, especially at the very beginning of a session, market's not just going to move straight up. It's rare. It does happen, but it's rare where the market will move in a straight direction. You will always see somewhat of a fake out. And the reason for the fake out basically is to say this. Look at this movement from here to here, right? This W formation's happening. To me, this has given me an indication that the market is going to go up. The makers of the market have already decided all of this. But imagine if you were able to catch the trade here and go all the way up to one of these peaks. That's 71 pips. How quickly? That's 1 hour here, 2 hours, roughly in about 3 hours, that's 71 pip movement, right? For a lot of people on 8 to 10 standards, that is like 7 grand that you would have made in about 3 hours. What the market maker will do is consolidate, pull back slightly, and the whole point is that at some point here, after this point here, people would have said, this market's heading up, what we're going to do is jump in for a long trade here, and they might have established a very tight stop loss somewhere down here. Market maker says, no you don't, I'm not going to carry you all the way up here, because if there's 1,000 people here that are going to make 7 grand off of me here, that's $7 million that I'm going to pay out. They don't want to pay out the 7 million. They'd rather keep that 7 million in their pocket. And that person on that desk on that day wants to say to their boss, hey, you know what? I saved all this cash. And that figure of 1,000 traders is conservative. That's probably like, say, 10,000 traders or more. That's $70 million. So they want to say to their boss, I saved the $70 million today. And the boss is going to say, fantastic, I'm going to pay you a nice hefty bonus. You can go out and buy that Bentley that Shiva likes. So what they're doing is they're going to pull the market back, hit the trigger off the stop losses, cancel out as many of these trades, capture some cash here before they go up there. This is how we need to start thinking. Alrighty, so back in the day when I started off teaching binary, I think, mention that I was going to transition all of this into Forex as well. I'm not saying for you guys to just to trade Forex. I'm basically just saying that what you really do need to do is diversify. Be able to trade binary, be able to trade Forex, be able to trade this on Nadex as well. Okay? That way no one can screw you. If something does go wrong somewhere with one of the brokers at some point, well, you've got cash flowing through somewhere else. Okay? So keep that in mind. This one here, the last video that I've got, the 15-minute trade off the M's and the W's, I know someone would have said, hey Shiva, this is the first wave, second wave, third wave, this would have been the fourth wave, how come this one didn't work out, and would you have taken this trade here? I would not have taken this trade. Couple of reasons. One, it's at the very beginning of the New York session. You don't want to trade this sort of stuff at the very beginning or at the very end of a session here. If I see this, see how market consolidates, because what the market could have done here was come back down and go straight back up. They went into consolidation. They knew that the next session's coming up, so they consolidated for a bit, pulled the market back down, because this is, what pair am I on? AUD JPY. This would have made more sense if it was Euro USD. But what happens? Market does fall because there's a crap load of US transactions happening right now. The US market is officially open. Okay, so market has a bit of a fall. Now, when you're seeing this is the market maker utilizing that exchange, and I wouldn't be surprised if this whole thing was actually planned in the Asian session somewhere, or possibly even the day before. But what they do know is that the next session is coming close. That do know, and that sounded fantastic. The next session is not too far off. They're going to consolidate and then actually make a move, not straight away, but possibly after some degree of consolidation there as well. Because hey, again, here from here to here, this is like an 80 pip move. They're not going to want to carry anyone with them straight off, so they will confuse you. I have seen moments, yes, where they've gone straight into a trend run here. All right, we missed that. But as I've said in the other previous video as well, if you then see this trend run happening and we don't take this trade because there's no pullback on here, that's okay as well. What we can do is trade on these ones. Wait for the pullback. Wait for it to come somewhere reasonably close to the EMA6. And yes, I know people have asked me, Shiva, but you know, when it's live happening, EMA6 is down here somewhere. How do we know this is going to come back in and touch? Realistically, you don't. So what you're trying to do is, to the best of your ability, figure out if this can happen. This is a nice long enough a wick, so you could possibly take this trade. This one is a tiny one. I possibly wouldn't have taken that trade. Okay, that's how you kind of decipher it. Sometimes what I do is to figure out how big is this wick in relation to this candle here. Sometimes if you see this wick come down all the way close to the second half of this, that's almost guaranteed that that's going to be hitting my EMA6 or be lower. So you can take the trade there. Okay, that would be safe. Some people have been asking me, well, okay, Shiva, how far would you carry the trend up? And I always say, look at the previous movement, the previous high and the present low sort of thing, right? So I would have looked at this high point here and this low point here. There's two ways of doing this. I didn't want to use Fibonacci here previously because I think it would have confused a lot of people. But I am surprised that many of you do know about fibs. Now, here's what I would have done with fibs. I like to use it on the wicks, not the bodies. There is a whole heap of people having arguments about doing it on the body and not the wick and vice versa. I don't really give a damn about all of that. This is just going to give me some degree of where I can go to. So see this button with the F here? Okay, that's Fibonacci. Click on that, and then what you want to do is hold that little cross you've got there at the top of the wick here. Press and hold down, and then drag it down all the way to where your low is. Okay, so I will choose the bottom wick of this as my low, and then I'll let go. Okay, so that creates the fib lines. Now here's the 50% mark. Okay, so this is 50. Reasonably speaking, what I'm saying is from this point to this point, is that? So from this point to this point, I expect that the market's going to bounce at least 50%. So I could do these reversal trades up until this point here. Okay, if you wanted to push it a little bit, be a little bit more cocky, go up to the 61.8 mark. Okay, realistically, you can get away with this. All right, notice how this one does go all the way up here. You could have traded on the reverse of this, and then you stop because you don't know if the market is going to continue going up. We would not have known any of this sort of stuff. Okay, so just go up to the 50% rule, and you could have traded This pullback, you might have traded this if you wanted to jump straight into it. But yes, you could have traded this one here as well. That's a couple of trades in terms of binary. That's just one currency pair. Okay, and this whole thing here is within a 45-minute space. I would have seen this in the morning or during my London session analysis with my nice cup of coffee. But at some point in time, I would have said, okay, once this happens, I've got a period of time before I can execute a couple of trades. So here's, if I just would have done one for the day, here's my single trade for the day, and I'm done. Makes sense? That's what I want you guys to do. Slow it down. Get off the groups. Get off the signal providers. Cut all the noise out. There's too much noise there. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm trading, I don't like a whole heap of unnecessary chatter. And a lot of you have been asking me for signals. A lot of you have been asking me to set up groups. Guys, I don't want to do all of that. Signals-wise, I want you to learn to trade yourself, because there's going to be times when I'm not around, when other people are not around. Those groups that are fantastic now, they're going to fall to crap later on down the track, maybe. Okay, but you want to be able to be anywhere in the world at any point in time, even if you're waiting for your next flight at the airport and you're in transit. Well, open up your laptop, take a trade. You don't need to sit back and wait for someone to say, hey, here's a setup. And I guarantee you, not all these people are going to be right all the time. There's pressure on them as well to be able to perform. So in order to want to give you signals, because people start expecting them, they may cut corners as well, and that will result in losing trades. Do you want to take the risk? Do you want to continue just doing maybe $25 trades, $50 trades, $100 trades for the rest of your life? No, you want to be able to do a $1,000 trade and walk away. Do whatever you want to do. Spend time with your kids. Go hit the beach. Do nothing. Go back to bed. Go back to bed. So in order to be able to do that, I'd like for you guys to trade for yourselves. The trade copier stuff that I'm talking about down the track, that's me trading, but at the same time, I will still want you guys to learn so you can still maintain your own lives. Okay? Just do that. Slow yourself down. 2 trades a day for every day on demo for the rest of April. See how you perform. Measure your own intuition, your gut feel. Do the clearings with the pendulum. Listen to the subliminals and see how you go. If something it's not clicking, it's not working out, certainly sit down, ask yourself a question. Ask yourself that question 10 times. I don't mind any of you asking me questions. Send me screenshots and stuff, but more often than not, I look at it and it's just clearly evident that there's stuff that I've said that isn't being paid attention to. Especially when I'm talking about things like these M's and W's. If it's not clear to you, don't take that trade. If it's not a clear M or a clear W, don't take the trade. Because all of us, and even professional traders out there that manage funds themselves, they do the same thing. If they can't clearly see something's not making sense to them, they simply don't take the trade. No forcing yourself to. Okay? This is again going to be a massive spiritual journey for you. You're going to awaken to a point where not just with trading where you know what you're doing and you're making good money, but you will discover so much about yourself and the world at large around you. People, the way what triggers them off, human psychology, human behavior. I guarantee you're going to be at such a beautifully peaceful place. So please do practice that. This literally is the secret. Where is my page? This literally is the secret. What else was there? So we've covered that. Mindset-wise, what I'm suggesting in regards to the demoing, extremely important, because I truly believe my strategies or the technicalities of it all is only about 10-15% of the game. I would say much less, but to be conservative, I'd say it's only about 10-15% of the game. 85% of it is entirely you. This is the reason why I say to you guys, I can share with you the strategy. I can't share with you my intuitive feelings, my know-how, what goes on within myself energetically. I don't know how to teach that at this stage. And for that reason, I'm kind of teaching you guys how to work with pendulums and be able to feel energy and be able to meditate and have your 5 minutes of quiet time and that sort of stuff. Because that sort of stuff will gradually teach you and show you what I'm talking about in relation to this inner feeling. You will get that. I just don't know how to teach it to you guys over Skype or over a YouTube video. All right? In the blog itself, I will write more in depth about this sort of stuff. So there will be a whole host of little tidbits and like, you know, techniques and like structures that you can utilize in being able to master all of that. But for the time being, I'd like for you to just experiment with yourself. If you even just sit quietly for a couple of minutes to just feel your own energies, become more aware of your senses. You know, have you ever tried just sitting quietly and then touching a table or touching your left hand with your right hand? Have you ever analyzed what that feels like? Or maybe just holding your forefinger and your thumb in front of you, just like where it's an inch apart. And then you're bringing it closer together, and gradually you're kind of seeing a grayed out area just around your thumb and around your forefinger. That's the starting point of being able to see your aura. So if you can practice all of that, I guarantee you that will give you the ability to even see market movements before they happen. Okay? And this will also give you more of an in-depth insight into how your own mind works, how you emotionally trigger. All of this is part and parcel to mindset. Next point, over trading. I don't know how that benefits anyone at all. Okay, I've seen so many people that talk about, hey, I've just killed the market, and they'll put a screenshot up on Facebook. And when I'm looking at the screenshot, it's like 10 trades, maybe 6 wins or 7 wins, 3 losses or so. And they're excited about that. Yes, okay, fantastic. Think about it this way. If you were to do 10 by $100 trades, right? If you won them all on a 70% return, that's a $700 return. Say, for instance, you lost 3, okay, and you won 7 of them, okay? So what's that? 7 7s 49, 490. Okay, that's your return on that. But let me put it this way: if you were to lose 7 of them, sorry. Well, hold on a second. I need a sip of my coffee. We'll go back to the previous calculation. So if you were to win 7 of them, that's 490 that you would win out of the possible 700. Okay? But say, for instance, you were to only win 6 of those trades. How much does that cut into your possible profits? But say, for instance, that of those 6 trades, or the 6 winning ones, all you did was you took 3 winning ones. So instead of just doing one $100 trade would net you a $70 return, say for instance you just did 2 or 3 $250 ones. Right? That would, by 3, that would net you $600 US. What if you were so perfect with your trades and you just did 2 trades a day and you were at a stage where you did 500 of them? Sorry, $500 worth of 2 trades. That would net you $800 USD for the day. What if you were so good with your strategy that eventually you could do just one $1,000 trade, and that nets you $700? Would you rather be able to do just one $1,000 trade, maybe 2 $500 trades, and get $700 or $800 return, than doing 10 $100 trades, where the possibility actually is of you losing more money than you're actually making? Okay, so if you were to, for example, go do what I was saying here, 10 by $100 trades, it would net you a $700 return, right? If you started losing some of them, what would happen to, 1, your confidence, 2, your ability to be able to see the setup, and 3, what happens to your profits? How does that get eaten away? So what we're doing realistically here is to say, okay, you've just done 10 trades, all of them were $100 worth, and you've won 7 and you've lost 3 of them. Okay, so let's calculate the 7 that you did win. Okay, 7 sevens 49, 490. The 3 that you did lose minus 300. Your net return there is $190. Here's what most people will say, well, what's wrong with that, Shiva? I've got more money at the end of the day than I started off with. Yes, that's fantastic. Good for you. But you just took 10 freaking trades and all you have to show for it is $190. What if you would have lost not just 3 trades, you would have lost 5 of them? You would have actually been $10 under right now. Yes, you would have had 5 wins, but you also had 5 losses. If you would have had just 6 wins out of 10, instead of being able to walk away with a $700 return, you're still only walking away with $90. Is that how you want to trade? There's no consistency. But on top of this, what I see with that is that people are not consistent with their trade amounts as well. So I've seen people that say, hey, I kill the market. Well, here's the sort of stuff that I saw where they had 10 trades. Of the 10, maybe 5 were $25 trades. There were some losses in there, and then there were possibly 1 or 2 of them that was like $150 each. Chances are that some of those $25 ones where I've seen were losses. The only reason why they're saying they killed the market was by some miracle, they won the $250 trades. And yes, people will try and argue that point as well. They're, hey, Shiva, what's wrong with that? They made it. But what if they would have lost that $150 trade? If they keep trading in the same way they're trading the $25 trades or the losing ones, what if they lost that one? Where's the consistency? How can you guarantee to yourself that you can do this day in, day out and be able to walk away with that $5,000 that you want to walk away with at the end of the month? So every month, you're kind of restarting off with thinking, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm going to have to martingale and throw a huge amount of money in there. I see people talking about martingaling all the time. We had to do it a number of times in this session, blah, 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 blah. Sure, okay, you can martingale, fantastic. But what if you're caught up in a trend and you haven't been able to decipher that this is a trend, especially on a 1-minute chart or a 5-minute chart? You haven't caught into the actual trend move. You can martingale for as much as you want. Chances are that freaking steam engine, which is the trend, has gone. It's going to keep going for a long while yet. What are you going to do? You're going to keep martingaling until you wipe out your account? That's all great, and I know a lot of people are teaching these methods in groups. That's fantastic if that's the way you want to trade. There are so many of these guys out there. What I'm trying to teach in my videos is how to be a lifestyle trader. How to be able to say, here's an amount that I want to make every day. Here's how to not be in front of my computer for such a lengthy period of time where I can just get 1 or 2 perfect trades in, make enough money for the day or the week, and then walk the hell away and be happy. Go do stuff with family and friends or do whatever you want with yourself. That's what I'm trying to teach here. So keep in mind these figures, but have a look at this. Okay? If you were to just do eventually one $1,000 trade, that would equal about $700 to $800 return. Maybe one $500 trade a day, that would equal about a $400 return. Okay, maybe one $250 trade, that's a $200 return. Right now, 20 trading days in a month. Oh, there's more, but I'm going to average that out so I can calculate this and not look like a fool on my video. Guys, that's a $4,000 return for the month. Up here, this is an $8,000 return for the month. Up here, this is a $14,000 return for the month. Okay, so That's how I want you to start thinking. That if you're just doing 1 or 2 trades a day, eventually, and if you listen to what I'm suggesting for you guys right now, put some time in just the month of April, demoing all of this, be able to nail your 2 trades a day. Hey, by June, July or so, you could be in this position here. For many of you, are you earning $14,000 a day right now? Sorry, $14,000 a month USD right now, doing very little work a day, not having to do a 9 to 5. Imagine for those of us that are not in the US or not in the UK. For me, if I do this UK, British pounds, that's $28,000 that I'd be walking away with in a month. Most CEOs, high-level executives will earn somewhere between 250 to 300K, like normal size companies. You can do this working a fraction of their time without university degrees, without any excessive know-how, and still get paid the same amount and still have more time with your family than these guys ever will. Do these calculations and start understanding what all of this is. Now, this bit here, being 100% in the money, what I'm suggesting there is this: taking only trades that you know are going to do what you think it's going to do. Knowing the setup when you're going to take the trade. Okay? It's not going to come throughout your days. It's not going to happen like where, okay, I've just jumped in, here's my Asian session right now. It's going to be an immediate going into that sort of setup so I can trade that. It's not going to happen all the time. But when you're looking at multiple currency pairs, when you're scanning the market, you can figure that out. How I do it, I scan the market and I'll say, okay, Euro USD is doing this, and this is what I expect it to do down the track. I'll write that down on a piece of paper. Go through all my currency pairs, and then off the, how many do I have here? 8 or so? Of the 8, I will probably write down 3 that are doing what I recognize. That to me is familiar. And then of the 3, I might break that down into just maybe 2 currency pairs where I'll say, yep, you know what? I can trade this. And the setup for me might not happen immediately. It might happen in 3 hours' time. I'm seeing this. I might see, for example, here, I might be seeing this pull down here, and I'm like, okay, this is towards the end of the London session. Market's going to consolidate and possibly pull back down. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go do something else for an hour or 2 hours. And then I'll come back and look to see where the market is for me. Because if I know there's a trend about to come, even if I miss this spike down, even if I miss this second candle, as long as this trend is happening, I know I can trade that trend. This is how we're going to trade it off the EMA6 on the pullback. I know I can trade that trend. If, for me, AUD JPY is doing that, I know that there's going to be a positive correlation with other JPY pairs as well. So I will look into that. Okay, AUD JPY and AUD USD pretty much do very similar stuff. So if I've noticed a trend that's developing in AUD JPY, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a similar trend happening on AUD USD. So I can use correlation there to be able to say, okay, I'm going to take a trade here with AUD JPY. AUD USD is doing something similar, and I'm going to take a trade off there as well. Hey, in the space of about half an hour, with a bit of time, maybe 5-10 minutes spent earlier in the day with me doing my analysis, I've been able to pick up 2 trades. That's it. I'm done. Done for the day. Walk the hell away. If I would have done just a singular trade, maybe $1,000, maybe $500, well, that's $400 or $700 that I didn't have earlier. Fantastic. Walk away. That's me being a lifestyle trader. That's me being consistent with my trades. This is me being extremely picky, and that's where you hit 100% in the money. If something doesn't feel right, you don't take the trade. Look for signs and signals in the market as to why you shouldn't take the trade. I'd be looking at, for example, here, I'd be looking at this one and saying, why shouldn't I take this trade? This is right on the border of an exchange from London session going into New York opening. Okay, I don't take the trade there. Anything can happen. So that's a reason for me not to take it. Here's me now saying also at the very start of this, there might be some consolidation happening. That's another reason to not take the trade. When I'm looking at this sort of a movement, this is a W formation, I know there's a trend upcoming, I'm not going to do reversals here. I'm not going to do reversal puts anywhere along these lines, because what people may say here is, hey, wait, hold on a second, Shiva, you told me to do the support resistance trades. I drew in a support line down here, and I drew in a resistance line here, because to me this looks like a resistance zone. This, if this line extended out here, that would have been resistance here. And they would have done, as soon as this candle hit this line, they would have done a put. They'll be like, Shiva, what went wrong? Well, what went wrong is you guys failed to recognize that a trend is coming. The other thing that I said, consolidations won't last very long, maximum about 60 minutes. If I was to do a pullback anywhere here, I'd just do it once. But knowing that this is a W formation happening, and then there's a possible trend coming, I will not do reversal trades here. That's a signal in the market to say, where you can maintain your 100% in the money rate, where you just do not take losing trades. Okay, I don't want to be putting up screenshots of doing 10, 15, 20, $25 trades or $50 trades and say, hey, I killed it. I want to be doing just a few trades and be able to, there are some really, really good traders out there that do the 2-3 minute trades. They're confident enough to put $5,000 down on a trade. I'm not going to mention any names, but there are some very good traders out there. They run groups and they do all sorts of stuff. They're fantastic. Learn from them. I mean, again, I'm not a fan of groups itself. You can learn from them. But what they've done is learn the fact where they have mastered the ability to be able to put down $5,000 on a trade, or $1,000 on a trade, or whatever it is. Okay? Don't just jump into a trade because they're doing it and you can do the same thing. There is so much that they know that happens within them that they really just can't share with you. They're able to share with you all these things, the technicalities of it. But what we're saying to you guys is, you need to develop the other part, the other 85%, the intuition, the stuff that you don't see on a screen, on a webinar, on a live trade and stuff like that. People say, Shiva, do a screenshot of your live trades. Okay? All I'm going to do is at some point here say, okay, the market spiked up. I believe now it's done its consolidation. It's done its stop hunts. This is now going to climb back up. Take a trade on the pullback. How do I say to you, hey, this feels right to me right now? What would that mean to you if I say this feels right to me right now, this feels good to me right now? Nothing. What I'm saying to you is, look for those moments that you can do it yourself, and in the quiet, not when you're watching a webinar, not when there's a million other people on Skype or on a Facebook group that's going ping, 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 and they're sharing their stuff. That's noise. That noise, I guarantee you guys, it's what's going to hinder your ability to take a good trade. It's not going to help you. What I want you to do is be your own trader. Yes, I'm not here to be a mentor, guys. Yes, I share information. I know some of these other people out there with groups, they're not there to be a mentor. They are simply someone that is showing you something that they do. That's all I'm doing here and now. I'm just showing you something that I do where you can focus upon this area and master. And this is why I always say, make that goddamn strategy your own. Make it your own. Rip it apart. It's no longer Shiva's Euro USD strategy. It's no longer Shiva's EMA6 strategy. What is your name? Say it's such and such. This is my strategy now. I don't copyright this stuff. I believe there are thousands of other traders who aren't creating videos, who aren't doing all this stuff, that trade exactly the same way. These M and W formations, a lot of professional traders out there that trade price action, they trade this. No one actually has a copyright over this. We all trade this. I was taught this method back in 2002 when I was going to become an advisor. This was taught to me by a fund manager. This is what those guys have been doing for years. So why repair something when it's not broken? That's all we're doing. And yes, I'm saying to all you guys, if some of you that have gone to university have had some level of tertiary education. If you've spent a year, 2 years, 4 years for your vocation, studying a degree to go out there and get a $50,000 job startup, well, guys, this isn't exactly rocket science, but at the same time, this is also not just a simple walk in the park. Once you do put in a little effort to get to know what's going on here, you realize it's the same crap happening over and over and over again. That's once you've seen it. Right now, you look at all of this and you're thinking, what the hell is this? You know, there are patterns that I have on here that people have sent me their charts. It will scare the crap out of you looking at that and you think, what the hell is this? But when you're looking at it in simplicity because you've got an understanding behind what's going on in the charts, you realize it's the same things over and over and over again. So what you're looking at now is something that's familiar to you. Scan the markets, trade only what is familiar. And when you can do that, you've just created your own system that works for you. Forget about groups. I know there are people inquiring and messaging me and wanting to set up groups and stuff. Forget about setting up your own groups. You know, what are you going to do? You're going to get 100 people to pay you $50 a month? What's that, five grand? Well, why don't you go out there, build up your account and do 5 $1,000 trades? You can do that in a couple of days. You won't have to answer to anyone. You have zero pressures there. So do that sort of stuff. Stop going out there trying to create groups. And it baffles me how many new traders are actually out there pushing out a whole heap of hype, setting up their own groups. That shouldn't be your goal. I'm not teaching you this stuff so you can actually have a goal to go set up a group somewhere. I'm teaching you this stuff so someday you're making yourself 30 grand a month trading both this and Forex, and you never have to ever work a day job again in your life. That's what this is about, guys. Your lifestyle. That's all I'm about. But if you do want to do that all other stuff where you want to go do groups and 2-minute trades and all, there are some very good groups out there. Do your research, go do that stuff. The only thing I'm going to teach you here is how to be a lifestyle trader, how to walk away from your day jobs, how to be free from all the crap in this world that exists. And I know many of you are more spiritually aligned and you can sense and feel energies and all of that sort of stuff that I talk about. So that way you can take this information, be able to make yourselves enough money and then go focus on your lives. That's the only thing I'm about. So I don't know how long I've been blabbering on for. But that's it. Yes, all of this stuff's coming through. This is the template. I will, this one, not the fib on it, this one. That will be roughly, what's today? Wednesday Australian time. So maximum by this weekend, I will have that up. You won't see too much stuff on the blog just yet, but I will be writing more articles and stuff as I drink more coffee. So all the best, guys. And again, actually, sorry, lastly, before I cut off, in regards to what I mentioned in my previous video about the trade copier with Forex and the 1,000 traders, one, there is no actually set amount of traders. We can do as many as we possibly can. It will depend on the platform and the brokerage in being able to handle that. I will just be trading a master account. So you guys are the only ones that have access to your accounts at that point in time. We won't be starting with anything more than about 250. I'm not sure if I mentioned all of this, but anyway, we won't be starting anything more than 250. I will gradually build those accounts up to a point where we can start to trade bigger amounts. And then so at the end of it, at the end of the month, sorry, you'd be able to withdraw. At this stage, no, I haven't thought about if there is going to be a fee charged on it, or if I'm just going to ask everyone out of the goodness of their hearts to donate whatever amounts they want into a fund. I really haven't thought about that. All of this stuff will possibly happen towards the middle end of the year, so September onwards. Part of the reason is I'm going to be doing a bit of traveling. I just want to kind of chill myself a bit as well. And at the same time, there will be a bit of a search for platforms that can actually handle trade copier systems. Thank you for all of you that have been sending me links to various brokers. this has to be a broker, which is possibly a large institution, like almost like a bank or something like that, because they need to be able to handle the sheer volume. So say for instance we have 1,000 accounts, and if my goal is eventually to make 100K on each account, that's what the aim is, USD. So I will possibly have everyone set up their accounts in British pounds, so we don't have to trade that much. Say for instance the goal is 100K USD or 100K AUD. Can you imagine on 1,000 accounts that is the equivalent of $100 million? Not every brokerage out there would be able to handle that volume, especially when it comes to liquidity. So only like a large institution like a bank or something along those lines will be able to handle that. And at the same time, how you make the donations and stuff, because can you imagine if there's 1,000 of you, or say for instance there's 1,500 or 2,000 of you, there's $200 million being traded on there, and then at the same time you guys are sending 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, how much ever into a fund. That literally is millions of dollars. It's like 20, $30 million a month that's flying through somewhere, and I'm sure we'll have every taxation agency on the planet trying to audit us. I'd like to keep things extremely simple. There might be just a fund. There might just be my own personal company. It won't be like a fund in terms of like a fund manager sort of a system. I'm not thinking about that. The fund that I'm talking about is just a charitable entity which holds the money that we then utilize for all the charitable work that we're going to eventually do. Okay, so that's the fund that I'm talking about. I will personally just be trading my own master account, which will get replicated onto your account. So yes, nothing more than about £250, I'd say, would be better, because we will grow. £500 would be even better than that. But you guys do have that time between now and September, October, whenever we decide to go on with this. So between now and then, master your binary options trading, put some cash aside, and we'll utilize that for the Forex setups. So as we get closer to that, we will work out the best system that will work. It might just even be, if I make 10 grand for you guys that month, you keep every cent of that. If I make anything more than 10 grand, then there will be a fee of $1,000 or something that goes into the trading accounts. And then beyond that, if you guys want to donate anything else, if we hit 50 grand, 100 grand, if you guys want to donate anything else, you decide how much. If not, then whatever that $1,000 fee is or so, how much ever money comes together, we just use that to do all the charitable work. Okay, so the finer details I don't know of. All I'm just saying at this stage is that to me, it just feels like this dream is so achievable. I knew at some stage in this lifetime I was going to create billions of dollars. I'm looking at this right now and I'm thinking, crap, we can literally do this $1 billion a year. And if we have 2,000 accounts, yes, we would be talking about something like 1.2 billion a year. So that's massive. That is absolutely crazy when I'm considering sheer numbers. So all of that stuff, all that info will come along. I will write about it in the blog as well. So you will be aware of all of this stuff as it happens. I've spoken too much. I need to go sip more coffee. All the best, guys, and please jump onto that April challenge thing, 2 trades a day for the month of April on demo. Perfect just that one strategy, just that one thing and nothing else. Get rid of all the noise, get rid of all the confusion, master this, do it for yourself, do it for your kids, do it for your family, do it for that business class tickets that you're going to buy and fly to a tropical island somewhere and live the absolute luxurious life that you dream about. Make this crap happen. At some point in time, I would absolutely love to get all of you guys in Vegas. We're just going to go over to Vegas and take over the whole joint. Maybe set up our own casino, who knows. But that would be fantastic. All right, establish a goal, establish your dreams. I'd love for all of you to start dreaming. Bring all this, whatever energies are asleep within you right now in regards to dreaming big. Do that. Start dreaming again. Start jumping up and down. Start being kids again. Remember how when we little, if you have kids, how kids that don't have a worry in the world and they will run around the house and be in a whole heap of joy. Start doing all of that again. All right, much love to all of you. Healing work, all of that stuff is coming. And I'll starting this week sometime I'll start pumping a lot of abundance energies into all of you guys as well. So as a group of warriors, I'd say, let's go out there and kick some butt, shall we? All right, guys, have an awesome day.